FELIX knives are still produced in Solingen, Germany. Solingen, a town and not a brand name as often assumed, is the centre of the German cutlery industry. Nowhere else in the world can you find more experienced craftsmen, because the production of fine cutlery in Solingen has a history of more than 700 years, reaching back as far as the 13th century, when the first swords were made and engraved with Me fecit Solingen, which in Latin means I, the sword, was made in Solingen. Since 1790, the FELIX family has worked with blades and cutlery, first as farmers in the smithy, but in 1843, more than 160 years ago, FELIX was registered as a company. Today the business is still in the hands of the FELIX family. Production includes a wide range of kitchen knives for professional and domestic use. Different handle materials, wood and plastic, are used, and the blades are either stamped or individually forged. A forged chef's knife should not be missing in any kitchen. It is the most used knife worldwide. This is why we've chosen it and invite you to watch the production of a fully forged chef's knife, which takes more than 35 production steps. Important for the quality of a knife is its raw material. Only molybdenum vanadium steel, with a minimum content of 0.5% carbon, is used for the production of a FELIX knife. This material is best known for its use in producing forged knives and comes from the famous German Krupp steel mill. This material guarantees a corrosion-resistant, flexible and sharp blade. Under 325 tons of pressure, the raw material is cut to specified measurements, depending on the particular knife being produced. The middle part of the split, which is wider, later forms the bolster. In the background you can see different splits for various types of knives. This is a die made from solid steel, which is fitted to the hammer and gives the knife its basic shape and bolster. Now the actual forging takes place. In this process the knife is given its rough shape. The raw material is heated until it is red hot, at a temperature of 1090 degrees Celsius. In 3 to 4 strokes, the hammer, weighing 1,600 kilograms, forms the first rough shape and the bolster. The bolster is a typical feature of a forged knife. It gives the knife its weight for improved balance. Here the smith uses a gauge to check the correct measurements. After forging, the steel is very brittle. As a result, the knives are carefully put into a container and then placed in the annealing furnace, where they have to stay for 48 hours at temperatures of up to 800 degrees centigrade to take out the tension and to enable further forming processes. Before the knife is further processed, the correct measurements are checked. The structure of the steel is inspected under a microscope for flaws and lumps. Only perfect raw blades are then selected to be cut into the final shape. This step is also called degrading. These scraps will be recycled. Knives with riveted handles are given 3 holes where the handle will be attached later. Before the blade is hardened, the first grinding operations are performed by hand. The burrs are taken off and rough edges are removed. One of the most important production steps, which has a major influence on the final quality of the blade and its sharpness, is the hardening process. This takes place in 4 steps. heating the blade up to 1050 degrees Celsius. Then the blade is quenched in an oil bath. The next step is deep freezing at -80 degrees Celsius. And finally the blade is again annealed at 200 degrees. The entire hardening process guarantees a very fine steel structure, a strong yet flexible blade. The raw blade is now finished and checked precisely as regards its Rockwell hardness. FELIX knives reach an average hardness of 58 degrees Rockwell. Finally, the straightness of the blade is inspected. Here, any irregularities are corrected.